Today's session would be given by Nilesh Chavan. I'll allow Harshada to introduce the speaker as well as the panelist. But from OCI point of view, I'd like to invite one and all who are attending this session. And this will be conducted once every 2 months. So today and tomorrow, we'll have lectures on contact lenses. Again, in August, it might be something like low vision or binocular vision. We'll have a lecture. Again, in October, we'll have again a series of 2 lectures. So once in 2 months, this lecture series in optometry will continue. I hope all of you enjoy the entire optometry lecture series and are part of it. So welcome and everybody, and thank you for taking your time.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening to every part of India over here. So what is basically the motive of every practitioner? Okay, every practitioner, the motive is to have 6x6, the best corrected visual acuity that every person tries to achieve. So when you achieve a 6x6 vision for a patient, it is viable for you. It is viable for the patient also, that he's seeing everything in the best corrected way in the world. So this is what you see, that when you see a person sees the 6x6 line at the bottom of the chart and you say, okay, the person has 100% vision, you are happy, the patient is happy that I've gone to the right kind of practitioner who has made me see 100% clear vision. Now, supposing if this is what happens, okay, you are doing a refraction for a patient, or you end up giving this kind of a vision to your patient, then what happens? Okay, patient is not happy, because patient says, I came to XYZ practitioner and I expected the best corrected vision, and this is what I've got. Or he leaves the clinic, makes a pair of spectacles or whatever, and then is not able to see the world in a very clear way. And then patient says, no, I'm not happy with this practitioner because he did not make me see clearly. Or sometimes he's going around with a friend and the friend says, hey, I can see that right across the road over there, but then you say that, no, I cannot see that clearly. So then you realize that your vision is not 100%, or you are not seeing 100% clear vision as per the Snellen's chart. Why does this happen? Okay, now let's take some example from a spectacle point of view. So you have a prescription like a -3 with a -0.75 cylinder with an axis of 90. Now imagine if you convert this into a spherocylinder, okay, where you give 3.25 or 0.5 and you tell the patient, come on, read. Now, obviously with the spherocylindrical combination, the patient is able to read 6.6, but with the spherical equivalent, his vision is 6.8, 6.9, it is 6.7, or it is 6.12. Another example here. So you have a -6 with a -1.25 diopters with an axis of 180. This is where a patient is supposed to be seeing 6.6 vision, and for some reason you end him up with a -6 diopters or a 6.5 diopters as a spherical equivalent, and you tell him, sir, this is the best that you can see. Now you realize that with the spherocylinder, the person is able to read 6.6, but with the spherical or the spherical equivalent, he's able to read only about, say, 6.9, or it's about 1 line lesser than that of 6.12. So that's not good. You have a low prescription like a -1 with a -1 with an axis of 70, and imagine you give him a 1 diopter or a 1.5 diopter, and the patient says, no sir, I'm not able to read up to the last line, and you tell him, sir, this is the best corrected vision you have and you're able to see clearly, that is the best I can do for you, that's it. So imagine you have such situations like these, okay, and instead of a spherocylinder, you end up giving a spherical prescription, or you give him a spherical equivalent prescription, and you correct his vision best to about, say, 6.12 or 6.9. So imagine if this is the sub condition where you have 100% 6x6 vision on one side, and you have a 6.12 or 6.9 vision on one side, and the patient is saying, sorry sir, I'm not able to see clearly as I should be seeing, or you end up saying that, no sir, this is the best corrected vision that you have. Now if this is the situation in spectacles, then why do we compromise in a similar kind of a situation in contact lenses also? Okay, I think so this is something which is known to everybody, knowledgeable to everybody, everybody's aware about this, but somewhere down the line we still keep doing this. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about this, that if in a spectacle we are going to not compromise for a spherocylindrical combination, then in a contact lens, why do we compromise in a spherocylindrical combination? So then where we come about is soft spherical lenses with soft toric lenses. Okay, so ideally a person has astigmatism, and with the astigmatism he requires a spherocylindrical combination in his contact lenses, but you end up giving him spherical soft contact lenses. Why? What is the reason? Okay, so then you realize, no, there is something which is there. Why means what we have realized in about say 25 years of practice is 70% of the people sometimes end up doing this, 30% of the people end up doing this, 20% people are doing it. It varies from place to place. But why do you still end up giving a spherical soft contact lenses when you are supposed to give him a toric lens? Now, why would this happen? Okay, many feel that fitting toric lenses is a specialty contact lenses. I repeat, it is not a specialty contact lens like how a scleral fitting is or a keratoconus fitting is. No, normal spherocylindrical toric lens fitting is just like a normal soft contact lens fitting. So people think, the practitioner think that it is a little bit of a complicated fit. There is a lack of confidence to assess the fitting. So people, practitioners, some feel that no, they are not very confident in giving that toric lenses. They are more confident in giving the spherical lenses, and they say, okay, no, this is how it is, this is how vision is, and that's it. There is lack of knowledge. Okay, like people sometimes still don't know what are types of toric lenses, the scribe marks, there are stability techniques, there are so many other things in toric lenses. A person is actually not having enough knowledge to do that. So his confidence is also low. Okay, since his confidence is low, the questions which are then put up by patients are not easily answered by the practitioner. Okay, so there it is where a person feels no, I think so, I don't have that knowledge, or I'm not very confident about toric lenses. Or if someone puts me a question about something about toric lenses and all, and if I'm not able to answer, it will not be a very good scene, so I better not get into it. So another thing is fear of losing a patient. Many times it happens that you have done a refraction and you find that a person has a spherical and a cylindrical combination, and you now have to give him the options. Okay, and the moment you tell him that, sir, your eye is not normal, okay, then he starts wondering, what do you mean by my eye is normal? And then you start giving him some technical terms, saying that no, your eye is not a sphere, it is like this, it is like that. So then a person starts wondering that why is it like that? And then you keep on telling that your curvature is uneven. Okay, your curvature is uneven, and then now you need a toric lens for it. The moment you tell a person that his eye is not normal, the moment you tell a person that his curvature is uneven and you need something which is very special, the moment the person starts panicking and he says, sorry, sir, I don't want to get into this. I think so, I'm happy with my spectacles, or I think so, I'll go to someone else. I think so, I'm in the wrong place. So you have a fear that you might lose the patient if you bring out the issue of astigmatism or toricity, or the moment you tell him that you need specialized lenses called as toric lenses. Very common thing that people find is toric contact lenses are higher in cost compared to spherical. Even in a city like Mumbai, this is one of the primary reasons we have found that why practitioners themselves don't prophesize giving a toric lens compared to a spherical lenses purely on the terms of cost. Okay, like people say that, okay, I have a spherical lens which is costing XYZ, and a toric lenses is going to cost more. So because it is going to cost more, no, I don't want to get into it. So practitioners themselves are not very confident to tell that the spherical lens is not as or the toric lens is not as expensive to the spherical lens. So why not going for it? So practitioners are not convinced themselves regarding the cost part, and it does not go across to the patient also. There is a clumsiness to insert the lens. A toric lens needs to be inserted in a particular angle, in a particular meridian, So what happens is the practitioner himself is not confident in inserting the lens on the patient's eye in that particular way. So then the patient says, this person does not know himself. How am I going to manage? And or you yourself are not very confident as to where is the stabilizing zone or where is the upper meridian going to be. And then you are not confident in front of the patient. Then the patient says, no, this is something which is weird. I don't want to get into it. So that's another fear where you feel that you will lose the patient. Now, knowledge, your confidence itself is not very high about toric lenses. Then you have fear of losing the patient. Okay, the cost part. Now, have you given a choice of good quality vision to the patient? Okay, so if you tell the patient that no, I'm going to give a choice between what is soft contact lens and what is a spherical lens and a toric lens, and how good your vision is going to be. So how do you do? It's a simple test. Okay, so you have say a -6 diopter spherical in the trial frame, and you put your overcorrection of the cylinder, which is there, say about 1.5 diopters, and then you tell the patient, see what is the difference in the vision that you see. Now, if the patient is going to see a 612 line with say unioculi -6 diopters, and the moment you put a 1.5 diopters of cylinder, and then he says, oh, now I can see the six line more better. So you have jumped 2 lines more clarity into the patient's vision by simply adding that 1.5 diopter of cylinder, and patient says, oh, I'm very happy with this. So I think so I'm not going to compromise on my vision, so I want to go in for a toric lens. Now you give a patient the idea of how it is. Okay, you tell the patient that spherical and spherical equivalent. Okay, so you have a spherocylindrical combination, like I said, about 6 with a 1.5 diopters in one eye that you're showing with a 6/6 vision, and you give a spherical equivalent combination, say about a -6.5 diopters. With the -6.5 diopters, the patient is reading about say 612 or a partly 6/9, and then you realize, no, I'm seeing much better with the spherocylindrical combination. So let the patient himself see as a judge as to how much difference in the vision quality changes between a spherocylindrical and a spherical equivalent. So there it is that most of the patient agree and say that no, I can see much better in the spherocylindrical combination rather than a spherical equivalent. We have a flipper like this. Okay, sometimes what happens is patient comes to you with a spherical soft contact lens, and you realize that he requires a 0.75 diopters of overcorrection over that, and you put these lenses in the flipper over here, and you just flip it in front of the patient's eye, showing that how is it with it and without it, and then the patients definitely appreciates that with it is more better. So I think so I should replace my spherical soft contact lenses to a toric lenses, and I should go in for that. So most of the patient decides that the vision is more important in a toric lens, which is more important to them rather than the spherical equivalent or the spherical combination, which gives them a partial vision of 80% or 90%. So patients definitely put vision quality more over to a toric lens, which makes it more easier for you to decide. Now, what are the troubleshooters or the confidence boosters for practitioners? Okay, so we saw that what is it that the hesitance is for the person to go in for toric lenses, for a practitioner to go in for toric lenses, how you can convince the patient that how vision improves with the toric lens. Now let's go to how we can boost up the practitioner's confidence to decide how to dispense the toric lenses. Now, very important is you yourself have to be confident that is toric lens fitting complicated? Absolutely no. Okay, toric contact lens fitting is just very simple as fitting your normal spherical lenses. So build up your confidence that toric contact lens fitting is absolutely not very out of the box, or it is something which is rocket science. No. Okay. Most of the designs of toric lenses which now comes are very advanced. They are very good in placing on the eye. They are more stable. So you get the power, the cylinder and the axis more or less the same as the spectacle prescription, or you get at least close by to the spectacle prescription. The stability of the lens is very good. Okay, the newer designs which are being developed, the stability in the eye of that lens is very good. So you are wondering whether with the blink it will move, it will not be stable. With the blink it will tilt, it will not give good. Most good with all the stability of your lens, and the vision is good with or without the blink. So you have good quality vision of the patient throughout the time that he's wearing the lenses. Now, how do we go about it? So you have a spectacle prescription which is there in your hand. You convert that into a contact lens prescription. Okay, and you order the lens. Okay, so as we discussed about one particular case where you have -6 with a 1.5 diopters with a 180 axis, and you do vertex distance correction, and you end up with an approximate value of say of -5.5 with 1.25, and the axis is 180. So you order that lens. Now most of the companies with advanced design give you an, I will not say the word guarantee, but they assure you that it is called as a first fit perfection. So they claim, and we have also seen that most of the lenses give you a first fit perfection. If you are perfect in your spectacle prescription in the lenses what you order according to the spherical cylinder and the axis, you should have a first fit perfection. You check the vision is very good in a sense. With your spectacles it was 6.6, and you have banged on into 6.6 with your toric lens also. You check your scribe mark on the slit lamp, or even with a torch, sometimes you can just locate the scribe mark and see whether it is right in the place where it wanted to be, and then you decide. Now many a practitioner have two ways to go about it. Sometimes the practitioner says that I want to order a trial lens first, give the trial lens, check everything if it's in place, and then according to that I order the final lens. Some practitioners go the other way around. Some practitioners are so confident that they want to go about it directly, and then they just order according to the parameters and then give the patient the lens as it is. So let's go back to where we were about how you should build up your confidence. Okay, so knowledge is very important. You should know what is astigmatism. Okay, if someone is asking, a patient is asking, sir, what is astigmatism? You should be able to say that the curvature is slightly uneven in your eye, and you should be able to tell why you are using a toric lens. Okay, and why not a spherical lens. Sometimes in our clinic we draw a simple diagram of a round sphere, and we draw a diagram of a rugby ball or of a egg to show that how it is different to a sphere, and that is why that unevenness is to be rectified with a toric lens, which is designed in such a way that unevenness is calculated. So you should be able to convince the patient that why vision quality is more better in a toric lens compared to a spherical lens. In the long run, it is better. Patient should not feel that it is a temporary phenomena which is there as in 2 diopters of astigmatism, and he should not feel that by wearing a toric lens my cylindrical component is going to come down. No, you are going to tell the patient that it is going to remain stable, or it is going to give you good quality of vision in the long run with the spherical cylinder combination of your toric lenses. Uncorrected blurred vision is not good for long term. So supposing someone has a spherical lens wearing with a vision of say 6/12 and 9, imagine using that for about 2 years, 5 years, and he has not seen what is good quality 6/6 vision. Or when he switches back to his spectacles and he says, oh, this looks just too good, and why am I not seeing good in my contact lenses like this, is then that blurred vision gives a long-term effect on the vision also. Yes, you should not be scared that you lose the patient. You should develop that confidence in you to explain to the patient that astigmatism is normal. Okay, 70% of your prescriptions in your own clinic, you will find that you end up with a spherical cylindrical combination across all ages, whether it is a 5-year-old, whether it's a 10-year-old, whether it is a 40-year-old, or whether it is an 18-year-old. Most of your prescriptions, 70-80%, you'll end up seeing that there is some amount of astigmatism which is there. So you need to develop that confidence to tell the patient that, sir, madam, whatever is your astigmatism is a normal thing which is there. It's not like a disease. It's not like an issue which is there in your eye. It is not a problem. Okay, this is something which is normal as any person would have in his eyes. And why that astigmatism is important? Because vision quality of 100% is very important. Now coming to a very, very important factor, which I have seen talking to so many practitioners, that many a times a practitioner says that I have got a patient new who's coming into contact lenses. I've already explained to him that instead of going in for conventional, why he should go in for disposables. After telling him that you are going in for disposables, now if I'm going to tell him that, sir, you need toric lenses, and toric lenses cost more than spherical lenses, he's going to be put off and he's saying, forget it, I don't have that budget, or I don't want to go in for this. And he does not decide into getting into toric lenses altogether. So sometimes it is the cost factor which a person feels is going to be a hindrance. Now we ran some amount of data check, and we saw that a monthly disposable toric lens cost only 6 rupees per day over a spherical monthly disposable. Okay, so I am counting on a day-to-day basis. If you are giving a monthly disposable, comparing between a spherical lens and a toric lens, a monthly spherical disposable lens and a toric monthly disposable lens, there's a difference of only 6 rupees. So if you are going to convince the patient that if you are going to wear the lenses for 10, 12, 14, 16 hours in a day, and your vision is good to about 100% just by spending that 6 rupees per day, I think so it is worth quality of vision that you are getting. Coming to the one-day disposable, okay, someone who's wearing one-day disposable on occasional wear basis, or someone who's wearing on a daily wear basis, whatever is the modality the person is using, in a one-day disposable, the toric lens costs only 27 rupees per day more than the spherical lenses. Okay, so someone who has a good affordability of a one-day disposable, if he's spending say 300 rupees a day or 350 rupees a day on a toric lens on a one-day disposable, obviously that 27 rupees is probably 10% or 15% of the cost for him over the spherical lens, which is giving him more quality vision throughout that 12-14 hours in a day. If you are going to convince the patient in different forms that 6 rupees is what it is in Mumbai language, it is called as a single cutting of chai, or 27 rupees is probably just one good cup of coffee, but that one good cup of coffee is going to give you 12 to 14 hours of at least 20-30% of more better quality of vision than your spherical lenses. Insertion is very easy, I'm telling you. It's not very difficult. The moment you find out what is the scribe mark, a lot of companies have lenses based on thickness variation. That means you know that the lower meridian of the lens is where the stability quotient is there, and that has to be in the lower meridian of say between 4 to 8 o'clock meridian. So when you're inserting the lens or when you're giving instruction to the patient, you just tell him that that has to be on the lower side. That's how it can easily be put. Now, many a times I've seen that practitioners falter saying that, oh no, is the scribe mark going to be at 6 o'clock? Oh no, I missed it from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. I missed it from 6 o'clock to 5 o'clock. No, you should be also confident, or you should tell the patient that even if it is off by 5 to 10 degrees here and there, once the lens is in the eye, it is going to tilt and come exactly at that position. So don't worry that you're inserting the lens a little off from the scribe mark where it should be, but when it goes onto the eye with probably a couple of blinks, it is going to be bang on there, and your vision quality is going to be 100%. So it is very easy to follow instructions yourself and tell the patient about how to insert or remove the toric lenses. Okay, and I'm telling you, newer designs stabilize very good. The newer designs, what you see, they are very good for you to just insert it, and the moment you put it, within hardly a few seconds you have good quality vision, which remains constant for the entirety. It's not like it remains for a few minutes, few hours, and then the vision goes bad. No, it remains the same throughout the day. Now, depending on your practice, you decide on what kind of a lens modality or the kind of this lens you want to dispense. So some practitioners, what they do is they order for a trial lens and then they decide the final fit. Some practitioners who are very confident, and then they feel that the patient is not going to come to them the second time to put in time again to sit on the chair over there. They are confident that in the first go, they give them the lenses which are directly from the boxes. Okay, so this is for you to decide whether you want to do a trial and a final fit, or you want to be directly giving boxes over there. Care and maintenance is the same for both types of lenses. So spherical lenses and toric lenses have the same care and maintenance. Toric lenses don't have any different kind of an maintenance type. They are just the same. Few examples I'm giving you over here from a daily day-to-day practice. You're a 24-year-old software consultant. Now she has a spherical lens prescription in one eye and she has a spherocylindrical in the other eye. Now, if you give a contact lens, a spherical lens to both the eyes to the patient will definitely be happy. But then when the person sees that with the left eye I'm seeing 6/6 vision and comes to the right eye and says, oh, I'm seeing only about 6/12 or I'm seeing only 6/9. If a person who's very sensitive, he's not going to be happy. Okay. So if you are going to give a plano 0.75 diopter 180 toric lens in the right eye with a spherical lens in the left eye, yes, the patient is going to have 6/6 vision individually in both the eyes and binocularly, and patient is going to be happy. You have a 36-year-old bank manager. The person has a 3.5 with 1 diopter of astigmatism. Many practitioners follow that rule of 1:4, and give that 1/4 of that portion or half that into your spherical component. Some people follow that, some don't, but I would say that keep your cylindrical component as a single entity and decide for your own self that a person even with a 0.75 diopters requires a toric lens. So in this patient, if you see that she's wearing lenses for last nearly about 15 odd years and very crisp vision that she has continued having for the last 15 years with a spherical cylindrical toric combination. The patient has a fascination to use color lenses, and patient says I use very occasionally. So patient uses 1-day color spherical lenses, but then still says no, I don't enjoy that kind of color. I don't enjoy that kind of vision still, which is compared to a toric lens. You have a 46-year-old person who is an outdoor marketing person. Very important for this person is how is the outdoor distance vision, and he has addition also. So we have to manage something like this for this patient, where we are giving him a monovision technique, where we are focusing his right eye for distance and his left eye for near. Now imagine in this kind of a case, the -2 diopters of astigmatism, if you would have converted this into a spherocylinder and giving him a spherical equivalent, his vision would have been not too good for distance, and the same would have carried forward for near also in the monovision technique. Since that astigmatism is taken care of, he has good quality vision for distance and near rather than the spherical equivalent that would come across. You have another patient. This patient had come to us with wearing a spherical plus lenses, and then we found that no, something is amiss. And when we checked with the patient says that no, the person to whom we had gone to make the lenses, that says that no, I don't get lenses in my kind of power. I would bring this to your notice that there are brands which have a combination of a plus and a minus cylinder. So if you have a prescription of a plus with a plus cylinder, yes, it can be transposed and you can fit lenses even in such patients. So you have one example of a patient here who has a plus with a plus cylinder, and yes, we have converted this patient into an happy person with a toric lens here. This patient over here, she's a 49-year-old lady. Again, classic example of a monovision soft toric that we have fitted. Right eye focused for distance and left eye is focused for near. Imagine all the cylinder was being put into a spherical equivalent and the patient would not enjoy that good quality vision. But somehow with the cylindrical component being taken care of, the person is having good quality vision for distance and near both. Okay. This patient also uses occasionally color lenses, the spherical, but somehow patient says, no, the quality of vision that I enjoy with toric lens is definitely much better. So if you are giving a spherical lens or a cylindrical combination, spherical lens or a spherical equivalent lens, and you don't correct the astigmatism, then what are the issues that can have? A person can have headaches, a person can have fatigue, person can end up into squint on a long term, patient can have eye pain, blurry vision is definitely going to be there. Uncorrected astigmatism of even as low as 1 and 0.75 diopters significantly reduces your vision. And if it is left uncorrected, the kind of confidence and the patient's quality of life which is there is definitely not enjoyed by the patient. Depending on your kind of practice, you decide how you want to go about fitting those toric lenses. I understand in an optical outlet, sometimes the patient walks in and you want to just fit him some lenses and take care of it. It does not take long to fit a toric lens. It does not take rocket science kind of a knowledge for you to fit toric lenses. Even in a simple optical outlet, I think so you should be able to fit toric lenses. In a purely optometric setup, it is more easier for you to convince a patient that what is astigmatism, why vision quality is more important, and why toric lens is important. Even in a combination of optometry and an optical setup, it is easier for you to convince the patient that why he should go in for toric lenses. In a hospital-based or an ophthalmology practice, I think so it's more easier because patients most of the time happen to listen to you as to what is your advice. So if you tell the patient that, sir, madam, I think so you should be wearing a toric lenses, it's easily accepted and it makes your job more easier to dispense a toric lens. Handling of patients is how you're going to approach that, how you're going to solve the queries, how you're going to put it across to the patient that what are the doubts they have and you resolve those. You're going to take the cost part into consideration and convince them. It all depends on your skill as to whether you finish the fitting in one sitting or you take multiple sittings. Very important that since you develop your knowledge in a better way, that you try and end up the sitting in one shot itself, so that the patient has confidence that I'm not doing something very different. Follow-ups is very important because 3 months or whatever is the follow-up that you call for, and then you decide how frequently that you're going to do it. In case if you find that the patient is tricky and the fitting is a little tricky, yes, you need a little additional level of troubleshooting that you should start developing by reading or talking to your friends, talking to your colleagues, talking to your seniors, juniors as to if so and so happens and how am I going to tackle that. So I think so that's a way that you can this. I think so toric lenses is something which we are not doing much often or something like that. And I think so if you are doing that, yes, it makes your patient happy. And I think so it increases your business also, because everybody probably sometimes sits here to make money. So thank you very much. There are a couple of more points also, but I think so we will put it up in the panel also and we can discuss. Thank you very much.
I would like to invite Mr. Khemraj Nakwal and Mr. Prem Sudhakar for the panel discussion now. Welcome, Mr. Khemraj and Mr. Prem Sudhakar. Yeah, we have few questions in the chat box. Okay, what could be the option for the patient who is not able to afford the toric lenses? So that's the first question, Nilesh sir.
See, affordability has to be discussed along with vision correction. Okay, means if you are, let me put it in a very whether you call it in a blunt way or whatever, a year supply of toric lenses in monthly disposable don't cost anything less than 8,000 rupees. Okay, so someone is not coming, or someone comes and tells you that my budget is 3,000 rupees and 4,000 rupees and I want a monthly disposable toric lens supply for a year. No, that is not going to happen. Okay, so even if you take in terms of a conventional lens, which we don't prophesize to use, but even if you are using a conventional soft toric lens, it is end consumer will be at least nothing less than about 3,000 or 4,000 plus. And if someone comes to you and says that no, my budget is only 2,000 rupees, then no. So there, I think so you have to decide that how that cost is going to be effective and how cost is justified in that cost to the vision part.
Thank you, sir. Is it necessary to give trial for toric contact lens fitting? I mean, what would you prefer?
It depends from person to person. It depends from practitioner to practitioner. It depends from place to place. Okay, like I said, supposing a person is coming to you just for that one sitting, and then you are a little skeptical that patient might not come back to you, or patient says, okay, you have done a refraction, and then you tell him that, okay, I'm going to give you one pair of contact lenses, and patient comes back to you. If you are going to give that lens to the patient and it doesn't fit properly, and then you're going to tell him that, no, I'm going to get a second pair for you, and you will have to come back after 2 days, 3 days, or after 1 week. And then you do a second trial. Sometimes that also fails or something like that. So you will end up giving trials, and the patient also starts losing the confidence in you. So I think so your first fit has to be good enough, or it has to be close enough for you to decide that this is the fit that is going to be to the patient, which is going to give you 100% vision. I know it's a little bit of hypothetical, or sometimes you say it is on paper, it looks good, but when it goes onto the eye, you just don't know how it is going to react. But I think so that's something which develops with experience. And this most of the time what we have seen, like out of 10 patients, 8 patients at least have a good first fit. Okay, so most of the time, you know, if you are ordering one particular lens and if that fits exactly, then you can tell the patient, okay, you please carry on with this lens, and then we will get you the rest of the lenses for you. So that's, you can probably get one pair of trial for the patient first, fit it, and then tell the patient to just collect the lenses, balance lenses later. Some practitioners, what they do is they just calculate according to this and tell the patient, okay, this is your prescription and this is how it is going to fit. Yes, there is an margin of trial and error over there, because sometimes the lens might not fit, sometimes the vision might not be good, and patient takes it home and then comes back to after 1 week and says, no, this is what you had said and I cannot see clearly with that. So then you are in a soup that you have to take the lenses back. Not only that, but then the patient is unhappy with what you have done. Okay, many a times, yes, the trial and error or the trial fit first, okay, and then the boxes works.
Thank you, sir. Khemraj sir, any comments on this?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing, that gone those days are when we used to rely on trials a lot in soft contact lens fitting. Thanks to all the research and development with all the companies have put up, back end in order to arrive that lens which reaches you in that box. A lot of research has already been gone before it reaches practitioner, and practitioner fits it on patient's eye. Particularly to toric, I would say we really recommend empirical fitting, which means you do a good refraction, you convert spectacle power to contact lens, toric contact lens power accurately, and you order that lens with whatever manufacturer you want to order. And 96% cases, the lens will fit. Often in seminars and when we meet our practitioners, I often ask that in last 5 years, how many times you saw a rotation? And you will see very less now. And I'm sure we have 2 great practitioners sitting here. How many cases you saw a rotation? Very less number. So let's enjoy the benefit of that research, which all these organizations have put, that you be confident and fit empirically. I totally agree with what Nilesh was mentioning, that there might be some patient where a rotation has happened or it's not fitting well because of that particular eye is falling on not in that 96%, but on that, rest of the 4%. Absolutely fine. Please call the manufacturer. They will take it back happily and give you whatever next power you require. So it's so simple. Let's not become very fuzzy about trial lenses. It increases a lot of logistics. It increases waiting time for patients till you arrive for his final lens. So my personal advice would be empirical fitting. Avoid trials as much as you can, especially when all the manufacturers are giving you first fit guarantee sort of benefit. So that's the point I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. As we have come to the manufacturers, there's one question that hospitals which are at remote locations, they are not getting ordered toric lenses in time. So how we help them, or how can we avoid this delayed orders?
Oh, that's a very practical question, but I would say that this is a forum where we have gathered to discuss things related to education. I'll just say that you might have to not every company is supplying their products or goods at every location. Please get into the touch with local teams, that which are the companies who are supplying faster in your area, and maybe you can get connected with them. That's the only thing I would suggest for the time being. as it's an educational forum and not to discuss the delivery and logistics.
Okay, thank you, sir. Nilesh sir, there's one question. What are your views on LARS rule? Are we overthinking on last rule, or what are your comments on that?
Okay. As Khemaraj also said just now, from the manufacturer's point of view, there is a lot of research and development gone into designing the lenses where where the manufacturer says that I'm giving you a first fit guarantee. Now, most of the time happens is that if you are ordering an axis at 90 or you're ordering an axis at 170, and the scribe marks fit exactly on the 6 o'clock position. But as I said, something which is put on paper and which actually goes into a dynamic eye. See, when I say a dynamic eye, there is so many things happening. There's a tear layer, there is a blink which is happening, the eyeball is moving in all possible directions. There are so many things happening in the dynamics of the eye, which is closing and opening. You never know when the lens will tilt in the eye. Okay. Now, most of the tilts that we have seen under slit lamps are very, very minimal. But if they are more, okay, if they are more than say 5 degrees or 10 degrees, okay, then yes, your large rule comes into play. Now, if at all, if you find that your fitting is even 10 degrees off, then there is something which is grossly wrong. Probably you have not calculated the access to order. So you have not calculated the cylindrical component in the right way. Something is gone wrong somewhere. But again, as Kimra said, there is that 4%, there is a 5%. Let's put it on the higher side of 8 and 10%, which you never know that how the lens will behave on the eye. And yes, there can be a rotation, but if the rotation is more than 5 degrees to 10 degrees, yes, you will have to bring in the large rule to apply over there. Again, what we have seen in an experience, sometimes one fit does not good. You apply the large rule and get the second lens, and then it stumps you there also. You know, sometimes even that 2% of that lens does not fit well. So you have to be a little more practical and calculative exactly in the first calculation itself, that where your axis is and how you're going to order. But yes, if it is beyond 5 and 10 degrees, yes, you have to employ a large rule and get the second fit.
Okay, thank you, sir. I would like to ask question to Mr. Prem Sudhakar. What are your views on 4:1 rule? You know, which states that best candidate for the soft toric contact lenses are the patients with sphere to cylinder power ratio with 4:1. So, does it help while fitting toric lenses?
No, actually, if you see, these are guidelines basically, right? I mean, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to stick to it. I mean, as Nilesh said, these designs and the technology which comes with these lenses are very good. All right. I mean, it's on case-to-case basis. You have to decide on case-to-case basis, and the challenge basically is to obtain a satisfactory vision. All right. I mean, if 4:1 employing 4:1 gives you a better vision, okay. But I mean, if you ask me from a practitioner perspective, it's not a hard and fast rule. You can always see the prescription, see how much vision the cylindrical power actually helps the patient in, and then decide accordingly on type of lenses which you can prescribe.
Yes, Nilesh sir, you have any comments on this?
Yes, to be very frank, in the last 20 years, I have not even thought about that 4:1 rule. So I don't know. I don't think so. It really, on paper, it looks good. As Prem said, it's just your call as a practitioner. Looking at the prescription, you should decide what is the best that you should be giving, rather than looking into any theoretical basis which goes into it.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll take questions now from the attendees. Okay, this is not related to the toric lenses, but one has asked that a patient is a 2-year-old boy and he's done his cataract surgery without IOL. Patient is aphakic. So what contact lenses can be given to him?
We can give silicone
depending on the
elastomer lenses.
prescription. I assume that if an IOL is not in it, the patient will end up having a prescription of at least about 14 to 16 diopters. What is very important for is you should be able to procure a lens of 14 to 16 diopters, which is there. Again, you should be able to get a 1 day disposable or 15-day disposable or a monthly disposable in that kind of parameters, because you would not want the insertion removal to be a tedious task for the parent or the child. So modality has to be decided, and how easily you are going to get that kind of an power. That is between you to decide and the pediatrician or the pediatric ophthalmologist to decide whether he would be more comfortable with the spectacle correction or he would be more comfortable with the contact lens prescription. But yes, we have done fittings on pediatric patients even of that age. Sometimes we find that 70-80% of the prescription is gone in the contact lens, and there is only 10-15-20% of the prescription which is given as an overcorrection on the spectacles. So a balance is kept so that the patient has good quality vision, which is maintained till the patient gets a little older.
Yeah, Prem sir wanted to add on this. I'm waiting
No,
for
I didn't hear the question. I didn't hear the question. What is it? Is it about the same
The
2-year-old
question
child?
is, no, it's about the monovision technique in toric contact lenses.
Yeah, I mean, it is something similar to your spherical monovision technique. I mean, there is, you first take the prescription, check the vertex distance, find out what is the actual power, find out the, different manufacturers give the toric lens calculator, find out what is the right toric power. And then it is just like your spherical lenses, how you go about monovision, find out the dominant eye and then, distance for distance. So, or the least spherical power or the eye which has a better vision, you give the monovision, you follow the same monovision practices. So if you see only the fitting and the calculation of power and the selection of the right patient makes a difference, because monovision, as you know, has its own advantages and disadvantages. And the practitioner and the patient has to discuss the pros and cons. And the practitioner has to take the holistic approach, starting from the prescription and the visual demands of the patient, and find out the dominant eye, check the right prescription, and follow the same monovision rules, just like your spherical lenses.
Yes, Nilesa.
I can tell you something with experience. Normally, what happens in a monovision technique, you are looking at 90-95% of good quality vision for distance and 90-95% good quality vision for near. In a monovision technique, the vision quality is never 100% binocularly. However good your patient might have good binocular vision, there is some amount of 5%, 10% disparity in which is still there. And someone who doesn't want to go in for a multifocal, you have a prescription which is not going to fit into a multifocal. So monovision is something which is going to be there. Now, as it is, you have lost 5% of good quality vision in that monovision technique. Imagine the cylindrical component you are not going to correct, and you're adding another 5% more deficit of under correction in that cylinder, and where a person in a toric monovision would enjoy 90-95% of good quality vision, and you're bringing it down to 80-85%. So from our experience, we have seen that a toric contact lens in a person who's astigmatic of more than 1.5 diopters, yes, the monovision technique, the clarity is much appreciated by the patient.
Okay, thank you, sir. There's one more question. How can we decide and prescribe contact lenses to patients according to their occupation? Nilesa, would you like to comment on this?
Yes. It's a very gross question, to be very frank, like someone who's having an outdoor activity, you're definitely going to focus more as to how is the vision quality going to be there. Someone who's going to be indoors and says that, okay, I want to be glued to my screen for 12 hours, 14 hours in a day, might be you'll undercorrect the patient by say about a minus 0.25 diopters, or you'll add and plus 0.25 diopters to give him that focusing range for near. Other than that, I don't see any difference in different types of occupations having any specific lens, like someone who comes to you and says that I play golf and I want a progressive spectacles, then you're going to, give him something which is very different. But someone who says that I'm playing golf and I want different kinds of contact lenses, no, you're not going to give him anything different. It's going to be the same kind of lens that you're going to give. So there's no big differentiation as per occupation and prescribing different kind of lenses in that way.
I think, I feel like the difference will be in the modality of lenses which you prescribe, depending on the type of occupation. People who, are into very active sports, probably maybe they can take a daily disposable or something, daily disposable Toric. And others maybe we can, again, it depends on the patient and the practitioner interaction and the affordability of the patient and what is best for that particular occupation. Say, for example, swimming, right? You can't reuse the lenses. It's better with a daily disposable, something like that. Torix per se gives better vision, but the modality of lenses should be taken into account based on occupation. Sometimes you can even give a spectacles on top with pins and to enhance the sporting performance. But I think it should be it's the modality which mostly plays an important part in terms of occupation.
Thank you, sir. Okay, another question. How much degree of astigmatism can be corrected with the toric contact lenses? I think degree of astigmatism, what he meant by how much astigmatism can be corrected with the toric contact lenses? Khemraj, sir?
Yeah, so I think various manufacturers have their own, availability. Like in general, you get in soft contact lenses, minus 2.75 up to minus 2.75 still in contact lenses can be corrected. But there are organizations which gives you, special order lenses when they claim to correct astigmatism for up to minus 5 diopter also in soft category. But if it is only contact lenses, then I'm sure the magnitude goes higher, and I'm sure Nilesa wanted to add on the same. Yes, Nilesa.
From our experience, what we have seen is the available lenses which are up to say 2.10 up to say 2.2, 2.75 diopters, we are able to correct up to say 3.75 diopters of astigmatism on the cornea. So even up to, I have 1 or 2 cases where we have corrected astigmatism up to 4.25 diopters. So we have been quite successful in doing that. So even with a maximum contact lens cylinder of 2.75, we have been able to correct up to 1 more diopters of astigmatism, which is actually there in the spectacles. So we have good this. It's not like, if someone comes to you with a 3 diopters of cylinder or 3.5 diopters of cylinder, don't just put him off saying that, no, ye nahi hoga, this is not going to happen. No, always give a fit and see. You might never know, you might able to correct that extra 0.5, 0.75 diopters with that lens. So on a practical note, yes, you have some brands which import lenses up to higher cylinders also. There's a waiting period for that. But then yes, with what is available, yes, you can correct up to 3.5 diopters of astigmatism also.
Thank you, sir. There are quite a few questions about multifocal or bifocal toric lenses. So people are asking, are they available, or need details about the bifocal and multifocal toric lenses? Prem sir, would you like to comment on this?
Well, if it is available, we will, we are very happy to fit, but right now it's not available. Khem will be able to answer this.
So a very simple, sweet answer for those who are asking about it. Yes, multifocal contact lenses do exist. They are available in India in spherical, availability only. We do not have toric multifocals available so far. Yeah, but globally, recently Boschlum has launched multifocal toric contact lenses. So it will take some time to reach India. I think
okay,
that
and yeah, what about the colored contact lenses? Are they available in torics? Yes, sir. Nilesh, sir.
There are some brands who make conventional and disposable color toric lenses. I would not want to name the brands over here, but yes, in Mumbai at least it is available. We have found that people who are fancy to using colored lenses and have toric prescriptions, yes, we have got a monthly disposable or a conventional toric lens, color toric lenses for them. So they are available, might be not all access, definitely not trials available for that. Might be not available in all access and all parameters of power to cylinder combination, but yes, there are available. So depending on your prescription, you should be able to get.
Yeah, there are brands which are available, but their performance is not it's not great. I mean, cosmetic lenses, and it's better to be used as a faster disposable category rather than a conventional one. The faster you replace those lenses, the better it is.
Thank you, sir. There's a last question. Can we fit the Toric soft contact lenses for pediatric patients? Nilesh, sir, would you like to answer this question?
Yes, depending on what is the age group we are putting the pediatric patient as. If you are saying that the patient is going to be under 5 years age or under 3 years of age, a lot of depends that if the patient is going to scrub his eyes, he's going to find that foreign body sensation in his eyes and he's going to dislodge the lens or he's going to tilt the lens manually. Yes, it's going to be a challenge in that way. Sometimes at that age, you would want at least the gross 70-80% of vision to develop. So you might end up using a spherical lens and give a cylindrical overcorrection over that till the patient grows up with age and has some amount of sense of how to use it. The parents instill some amount of discipline in the child, how the lens has to be used. I think so in a later age group of 7+ onwards, toric lenses can be used. Yes, we have patients in that age group of even 7 to 12 who are using monthly disposable torics.
Thank you, sir. There are 1 or 2 questions on material of the lenses. We would like to take those questions tomorrow as we are discussing materials tomorrow. So are there any more questions?
I just want to, not ask question, but then I want to request all the participants, like the questions which we received today were on like very special cases. However, just a reminder, it's being 50 years since the soft contact lenses were developed. So whatever you're fitting, which is coming to your clinic, has a good research backup, in terms of designing those lenses, and are very good to fit on. So I would want all of you to focus on that 96% of patient which will walk into your clinic, where you can easily fit toric contact lenses, because majority of your population would have 0.75 cylinder or 1.25 cylinder. As the cylinder goes up, population will squeeze. So you have enough to do in your practice. Please go back and start fitting toric contact lenses. That would be a very good takeaway of this entire discussion. Thank you. That's what I wanted to just add on to.
Yeah, thank you so much, Khemraj sir. There are no more questions. Yeah, Nilesh sir, yes.
Something to add on what Khemraj says. Yes, very much true. Globally, if you see, toric lenses are dispensed on par or sometimes even more compared to spherical lenses. India, there are 1 or 2 brands which show that their data shows that toric lenses are dispensed more than spherical lenses. But on a gross, this still we are lacking in that toric segment, where spherical lenses in certain segments are still fitted more. There is a huge population which definitely requires toric lenses, and I think so we should keep everything aside, all the barriers aside to think, and we should be able to do it. Again, there is a huge sizable population which requires an astigmatism of 0.75 and 1 diopter or 1.25 diopters. is normally most of the practitioners put it as a spherical equivalent, bundle it and give it to the patient with a 6/9 vision. But I'm telling you that 0.75 diopters of astigmatism that you put into the toric lens makes great wonders for the patient to see vision. And he really then appreciates saying that, oh, now I can see 100% clear vision. There's a huge sizable population which requires that 0.75 diopters. And I really instigate you, tell you to do it and really accept what is a good successful contact lens practice.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nilesh sir, for the enlightening talk. Thank you, Khemraj sir and Prem sir, for your valuable time and participation. Thank you so much, everyone.